Hi, David.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
How are you? Nice to meet you, my friend. We're talking to David from Bangalore Choir. Welcome to Friday the 13th. Finally, we get the interview together. So, I'm going to ask you some
Finally.
warm-up questions first.
Okay.
Some warm-up questions. Vocally, who's inspired you as a singer? Who's your influences?
The first guy for rock was Ian Gillan, and then I discovered Paul Rogers. Those two, I would say, would be my heaviest. And then John Fogerty, Creedence. I mean, amazing singer. To this day, he's still singing great. Um, but I originally started with country music. So I was born in Oklahoma. So I grew up with George Jones, Conway Twitty, and Loretta Lynn, and all of those as a boy being played in the house all the time. But for rock, I would say my first rock album I bought was Machine, and I bought Alice Cooper Schools out the same day.
Okay. So,
So I was hooked, and then I went crazy on that.
What about Glenn Hughes? Is he an inspiration to you?
At times, I mean, the old, really soulful stuff I really like, but I'm not really into vocal acrobatics. I mean, he's got an incredible range, great singer, but like some of his solo records, I think there's one where he says, "Oh, I'm sounding too much like Stevie Wonder right now," but he's got that black, soulful gospel tone that when his lower register that just gives me shivers. I've done a couple of gigs with him.
Right.
Amazing on stage. I mean, just walked in, picked up his bass, went on stage. It sounded unbelievable.
Yeah,
But
I've
I
seen.
prefer when he sings lower. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him live myself, and I've watched him at soundcheck without a microphone. He's like, holy shit! It's
Yeah,
like
it's
he
amazing. I
doesn't need
mean,
a microphone.
no, it's so big voice and amazing talent. Yeah. I mean, I loved him with Purple, of course,
Yeah.
and Tommy Bolin era. I like that record. Come Taste the
Okay. What about
Bang.
heavy metal singers? Was there any heavy metal singers that inspired you, or was it mainly
Well,
country and rock?
when I was doing the club thing back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, we had to emulate all the flavor of the day guys to get paid. So it would be Ronnie, um, Halford, um, Thin Lizzy, Zeppelin, of course. Everybody had to play Zeppelin. But just a plethora of different bands that were out at the moment. You had to play those songs to bring people. And in those days, we played 7 days a week, 4 or 5 sets. I mean, we played. It was magic. I hated it after a couple of years because we played 350 shows a year. We were never home. And I started my musical journey in Minnesota. So what you do is you play like a 5 or 6 state region
Yeah.
down into Illinois, Wisconsin, and all that, and then you go back north, and then you hit Canada, and you go from west to east on Highway One, and then you hit back into northern Minnesota and do it all over again. It's a nonstop grind, and you do it year round. In the wintertime it's brutal. In the summertime it's hot, but I would cut my what off to do it one more time like the old days. Because these days, as you know, touring is 2 weeks on, you set at home for 3 months, then 3 weeks on, then you're home for 4 and 5 months.
Yeah.
I was talking to the guys about it that are still around, and I said, you know what, it'd be cool just to try it one more time. Yeah, I miss it too.
Yeah. I know the guys from Anvil, they tour for like 3 months solid around Europe. Just go for it.
Yeah, I mean,
It could be
and those
pretty
guys are,
brutal.
yeah, rock dogs, man. They are hardcore, real rock and roll band. They will sleep in the van and go play.
Yeah.
They don't care, and that's what we did.
Yeah. Okay, then. So you grew up with us. What was your very first band you was in, David? What was your very first band? Because I was looking at some of your work, and you'd be
I
like
had a
Sacred
band.
Child was one of them.
Well, that was one of them, but that was
Yeah.
after my kickoff. I had a band called Meteor, and then I had another band called Obsession because I'm a huge UFO fan as well. I love
Okay.
Bill
Right.
Maher. And there was a band called Dare Force that were like the kings of the Midwest, and they had come to see me sing. And the singer that they had was a guy called Zeno, and he was the original singer for Cheap Trick because that's all the same local area.
Right.
And Cheap Trick had fired him because they had discovered Robin Zander, and he was singing for Dare Force. And then after a few years with him, they were like, I heard about this Reece kid, and they would come see my gigs, and I was like, why are they here? And then one day I got a call and said, come over to the band house. Zeno's out, kind of, underhandedly, and we jammed for like 4 songs. They said, you're the guy. So that band elevated me to the continuous nonstop shows. I mean, we booked every day.
Okay.
And we did a lot of openings, for Trick and for Aerosmith and, bands like that. They would call us and we'd go open for them and then go across the city of Minneapolis and play our headline show. So that was my real first taste of hardcore touring.
Okay. So what other bands was you in? Like I say, it was in Sacred Child and
Well, I went to LA after Dare Force. I just burned out and I said, let's go to LA, guys. We can get signed because it was like 81. Everybody was getting huge deals, and they were like of the mentality of the big fish in the little pond.
yeah.
Prince came from northern Minneapolis, the north side. So they had this idea that we were going to be discovered there, which never happens because the guitarist for Prince at the time was Des Dickerson. He was a friend of the band. And he'd come hang out with us and say, hey, man, we can get you hooked up with Warner Brothers. So they believed that it was coming to them. And it never happened. So I decided to leave and went to LA and couldn't get arrested. I mean, everybody's a singer or an actor. And I met the Sacred Child guys and did that couple of demos with them, which somehow turned into a record after I joined Accept because he capitalized on the name. And, hey, Reece is an Accept. Now I can make this an album and release it. I didn't even know it was out. Then I returned to the Air Force. I picked up another guitarist in LA, and we continued another few years of that. And nothing really happened, but that level, you kind of stay stuck in that groove.
Right.
You're talking like 80 to 85, 86,
Yeah, right. Okay. I mean, looking at you, your time with Accept, with the album Eat the Meat Heat. What recollection, what good memories do you have from that period?
It's a bizarre thing because I had been, after Dare Force disbanded, I'd gone to LA again. Same story, sleeping in cars, sleeping on floors. And I had recorded a 5-song demo with Mitch Perry, the guitarist. And we shopped it to everyone, said no. And I was staying with a woman in Santa Monica on her floor. And she had a little agency called Rock Congress, and the whole concept was placement agency for artists. But she was having this fling with Dieter Dierks from the Scorpions. And I one day had just said, I've had enough. My family had moved to Colorado. I'm leaving. So I jumped on a Greyhound, basically just backpacked and just took off. I'd had enough of LA. But I left that cassette with Lucy, unbeknownst to me. I just left it there. And Dieter shows up saying, hey, we've got a real problem with Accept. We have this Englishman. I think his name was Robert. And do you know any good singers? And she goes, I know this guy, and hands him the cassette. And he put it on. He goes, that's the voice. Where is that guy? She goes, I don't know. He just left to Colorado Springs. So apparently they hunted down my family name, and there was just a few, and called every one of them. And they finally reached my mother, and she said, no, David doesn't live here. He lives up in the mountains. Here's his phone number. And a couple of days later, I got a call from Bill Hoffman. And I thought it was a joke, because I went back to live instruction. He said, no, I'm serious. Really like what we hear. Be interested in trying out. I said, yeah. So within a few days, I was on a plane to Düsseldorf auditioning for Accept. It's just crazy.
Awesome. Wow.
Kind of funny.
When you did the Circle of Silence, you had Larry from Vengeance Rising. Really good Christian metal band. They also had Jay from Hurricane and Greg from Badlands. Yeah. That was like a really good lineup.
Well, the Badlands thing came together because Bangalore Choir, we got dropped right when Nirvana came out, and Bangalore had gone out with Badlands, done a bunch of gigs. So Greg and Ray and Jake would see me play every night, and Greg and Jake thought that guy's pretty good. And when Ray passed, got really sick, and went back east, Greg called me and asked me, "You want to come jam with Badlands?" Of course. Nothing happening now, And we did a bunch of jams together, and Jake decided he was going to go in a different direction with Mandy Lyon and do some kind of World War III thing or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that's how Greg and I became tight. And during Circle of Silence, he had introduced me to Larry of Die Happy and the Vengeance. And Larry is just the full-on thing. I mean, the guy's a beast on guitar. I think he's in Vegas now.
I know that the album Red Sea that he was in, they were Die Happy were very much like Badlands, weren't they? They had that Badlands vibe.
And we were all neighbors. I mean, they were down. I mean, you could drive 30 minutes and everybody be hanging out in the backyard. Right. I mean, everybody knows everybody. So that was a great band. Jay Shellen on drums from Unruly Child and Hurricane. But nothing, I mean, what it was all of us hard rock guys trying to stay relevant and make kind of a grungy, Sabbathy sounding record. And our fans kind of were like, what are you doing? And then the grunge fans are like, well, that's you guys trying to be like us. So we were all just trying to survive. You know?
Right. I mean, you've done so much, David, in your career. I mean, this first album, On Target, what a brilliant album. I remember buying it, and 3 bands that came to mind was Tarketo, Firehouse, and Dokken. Do you kind of agree with me on that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Kurt Mitchell on guitar, and that first record was He Loved George, and we did a bunch of Lynch Mob shows together. We had the same management with Bangalore at the time. It's called HK. They had the Eagles and Heart and everybody. And I mean, we had the full Monty. We had Warner Brother Records. We had Howard Kaufman behind us, and George was with Howard. So waiting around for the big shot, the big tour, we would go out and tour with Lynch Mob. But this is after Oni had left the band and Robert Mason came in.
Right.
And yeah, but I would say the influence of George is distinctively there on guitar from Kurt. And me, I'm not really a Firehouse guy, but that kind of rock, the big harmonies. That Bangalore is a military torpedo. Choir I added to it, so it was explosive vocals. That was the concept.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you where the title came from, the band.
Yeah. I have a lot of military in my family and my brother. So once you call it Bangalore, I go, isn't it a city or a country in India? He goes, no, it's a military torpedo. That'd be a cool name. And I go, that's a stupid name. And then he goes, I'll add choir to it because everybody in the band could sing great. And so we'd sing everything with no backings, 5-part harmonies live.
Right.
Which we really worked hard on, but it was just a natural progression.
But that is a really good album, especially the song "Angel in Black," killer song.
Well, that's me, you know, being told by the label we need. The funny thing is, I released Beyond Target. We found all the original demos, and a guy had stolen them that we'd fired from the band. He went into the studio and said, "I'm here to pick up the masters." And they didn't know he was out of the band. So they opened the safe and they gave him all the tapes. So I get this message with this extortion fee. If I want them, this is what it costs. And I said, well, can you say FBI? And the guy was like, what do you mean? I said, that's our songs. I want my music. So that's how Beyond Target came. But originally we were like, we're not doing anybody else's songs on our record. It's all us. And labels like, no, you're going to work with John Bon Jovi. You're going to work with Steve Plunkett, and the song Loaded Gun was written by the bassist from Styx. And the band, especially Curtis, I'm not playing that song. That's not me. So we got to do it, man. It's our radio hit, which it did turn into.
Right.
But it lasted for about 3 months, and then the whole world flipped upside down with music. So
what songs from the debut album are your favorites, David? Do you have any favorites?
I'm a big guy. I love Slipping Away. I love Freight Train. I think All or Nothing was the first song we wrote together.
Yeah.
I mean, Angel in Black is a given every night on stage. We play it.
How many tours did you do for that album?
Quite a bit. I mean, we went out as a headliner. We did like probably 2 months in clubs headlining, and we had such a buzz. We were filling venues everywhere. And then we did the Lynch Mob stuff, like Mexico and West Coast and stuff like that. But we were up for, ironically, the Slip of the Tongue tour as a support because Howard managed Coverdale.
Okay.
And the story I was told, we were going to do 40 cities, Asia and Europe. this is it, man. We can break, you know. And like a week later, they called me in and said, Coverdale doesn't want you. Said, why? He was apparently having vocal problems.
Okay.
And my manager said it this way: it's because he doesn't want you to outshow him. You know, he's having problems, but we'll get you another tour. You should be honored. And I'm like, screw that, man. Let's go open for Whitesnake. I mean, this is a break.
Exactly.
But he said, no, we're going to use European bands. But he had his ulterior motives, I was told. I'm not sure it's the truth to it all.
But I mean, it's been a while since you did the second album, like this Candles that came out in 2010. Why was it so long? Was there various lineup changes, difficulties with labels? What actually happened there?
Well, with Bangalore, it was, you know, after we were dropped, it was devastating.
Yeah, I bet.
We had it all, man. I mean, the band, so a couple of guys in the band are just anti-business. And basically it just frittered away and everybody just went their own ways. And I think Ian and Jackie went to work with Aldrich and Cal in, what was it, Lion or something like that?
Yeah, right.
They formed a band together. And I basically at that point in my life had said, screw it, okay, it's not going to happen. So I disappeared. Right. But I was contacted by the Firefest people that if I could put together 3 original members, we could have a slot. And unbeknownst to me in the UK, Bangalore did really well because I was told when they dropped us, it's over, get a real life.
Yeah, right.
But grunge had not really affected UK or EU until like a year later. Had I known that, the story goes, I would have gypsied it and slept on couches and played, you know, beer pubs all over the UK and stuff. Right. But anyways, Kieran and Bruce called me and said, if you can get 3 original members, we want to put Bangalore on in 2010. And I had to pull a lot of teeth to get Kurt to leave the house to do it. But it was extraordinary. I'm in Nottingham and there's 1,200 people outside in line shouting our name. And the first song, they knew all the words. And they said, I've waited 19 years for this. Where were you? Andy Susemihl has been my go-to weapon of mass production for years. I've known him since UDO when I was in Accept. We were next door to each other when he was doing Mean Machine. But we did Cadence and then we did Metaphor. And Kurt Mitchell put it to me clear. He said, listen, the house that I live in, the grass under my feet is mine. House is mine. Studio is mine. I don't have a record company telling me go on the road for $100 a week and leave your family, your guitar teaching business. So I'm not doing this anymore. So I just kind of let it go. But the reason I thought I'm in France last year, actually, and I do okay as a solo artist. I got my solo band over there. We're doing pretty good numbers. And I start realizing that a lot of bands like Firehouse and Slaughter and Keto, it's the brand.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving home to Italy and called the management booking and said, I'm putting Bangalore back together. But if I do it, I want to make it like On Target.
Right, yeah.
So we can delve into that if you like.
Yeah.
That, for me to go back into my head from 1990 was not easy. And I and Andy started writing the record, this new one, Rapid Fire Succession. And the first 4 or 5 just did not get it. And I said, if we're going to do this, it has to be like On Target. So after all of that, we landed on Driver's Seat. He wrote the riff and I said, there it is. That's what we're looking for. And from that song forward, I think the second was Bullet Train. It just started coming down like raindrops. So I really think that I nailed it. You know, it wasn't easy.
No.
I listened to On Target incessantly. But what was my head thinking in those days? I don't know. But I brought it out again. And it worked. You know, the reviews have been great. The radio especially. I mean, in America, I was #1 for 6 weeks.
That's good.
And the second song, Driver's Seat, is #6 in the top 10. I mean, all over the world, the radio is just, I haven't had this much radio attention in 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I've been listening to the album. It's definitely a part 2 of the first album. You can see its resemblance. especially with the first few songs of the album. You can see it's where it's left off. I mean, you've got like 3 guitarists on this album, I believe. 3 guitar players, 4 guitarists. How did you meet all these guys? How's it going to work for a tour when you've got all these guys?
Well, the way it worked last week, Eric Juris and Diego Pires, who play in Warlord,
yeah,
play guitar for me.
Okay,
and they actually played all the rhythms on this record. I wanted to get 3 tracks of rhythm from one of them, 3 tracks from the other, and then put Andy's rhythms in the center. So they were part of it and they could live with it. They did a few licks here and there. But the guitar thing, like I said, Andy's my go-to guy. I've been writing with 40 years.
Right.
He and I get it together. We can not speak for 2 years and then we call each other and go, let's write a record. You know, and boom, it happens. Mario Percudani from Hardline lives another hour here from me here, and he understands Bangalore. So we wrote I'm Headed For, I Never Meant To, and Love and War together in like a week. I knew I needed to reach out to him, and he understood. Freddie Dernberg on keyboards for Mending Fences was Freddie and I go back years, and I love Elton John piano and stuff like that. I said, I need a gospel-y kind of thing. Because we used to jam together in Sainted Centers backstage, and he'd go, you and one other singer get this. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you and Jolyn Turner. When I jam with you, you know where to go when I'm playing just a jam. And I'm like, we should write some songs together sometime. And we did. But my touring outfit is Nello Savinelli on drums, who's on the record.
Yeah.
And Riccardo Demarosi, my bassist. They live 5 minutes from me. That's where I record all my music. And I really thought I should, if I'm going to do this, I need a fresh rhythm section. But that's stupid. If you got a tight rhythm section that could drive nails in the floor, that's imperative for a rock and roll band.
Yeah,
you can have all the shredders on the planet, but if you don't have a great rhythm section that you know, that you love, that you've toured with all over Europe and wherever else, you're lost. So I just called them one day and said, do you want to do this? And like, yeah, but they're 90s guys. So they don't write this type of music, but they play it really well. So that hence the reason they're on the record.
It's chemistry as well, isn't it, David? You've got to have the chemistry to each other. You're going to get along. I'm all about together.
Like this, right? I'm on the phone today. We're procuring hotels and stuff for the end of this month, and they're really involved with helping me research stuff on the computer because I'm not very smart with that. Looking for the affordability and they drive, you know, but every night they're on. They're young, they don't care. Let's rock.
Right. And so the title of the album, Rapid Fire Succession, why did you come up with this title, and did you already the titles for this new album?
Well, you know, you got On Target with the woman on the bomb.
Yeah.
You had the posters that all went out with us with Niels Lozauer with the B-17 bomber.
Yeah.
In Chino, California. So I knew that the artwork had to be similar with the brand name to the first cover. So I don't know. One day I just went Rapid Fire Succession. And then Giles said On Target Part 2. And I went, you think? He goes, sounds great. It's a great album title. Let's do it. It just popped in my head.
Yeah.
And I had written 16 tracks, as you know, on the record, which is a long album.
Yeah, it's a long. It's almost like you've done 2 albums in one. You just had to put them both together. Was that the idea?
Problem was I had 26, 27 great songs, and it's a good problem to have because I wrote for about 2 months every day, all day, when I got into the rhythm. So I've got like 6 or 7 laying here on the table that if I do an act 3 and act 4, they may go to the next one if I do it. But Giles's idea was the act 1, act 2 was something like a Steinman concept with Meatloaf. He said, why don't you start thinking like that? I go, isn't that a lot of songs? He goes, yeah, but they're all really good. It'll flow. So hence here we are.
So there's no bonus tracks for the Japanese, and then you're going to give them the 4 extra songs you've left behind.
No, I'm not going down that road because you know what they do. They get the record a month in advance, and by the time the record officially gets released, it's already all over the internet for free. So that's always been kind of a catch-22 for me, the way they think. We want it first, but we want 2 extra songs. Nah, everybody gets it at the same.
So how long did it take to record this album, David?
In all honesty, when things were steamrolling, I would say no longer than 8 weeks. Everything was.
Right, and
I work fast.
you produced it yourself, obviously.
Well, yeah, I am like the exec. Thomas Mergler mixed it because Riccardo doesn't think like this music. He thinks like Soundgarden.
Okay.
He comes from that era, so he would be the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Everybody is smart enough to edit their parts and make it right. And the drums and bass were live together, which I really wanted, that old feel.
Yeah.
Um, really fast. I mean, if I'm singing a song and I look behind the glass and Mario or Riccardo are recording my voice and they're not enthusiastic, I'm not selling the song. So I'll know that song's not going to work, so I'll shelve it. But I was pretty confident with the repertoire for the record that we were going to nail it, pretty much what we picked. So it's pretty fast.
Okay.
One
So
and a half songs, 2 songs a day.
do you have any favorite songs then from this new album, David?
I'm really fond of I'm Headed For right now. We play it live
Why?
in the set and the crowd.
Okay.
I don't know. When I recorded it with Mario, I my voice was blown out because I'd sang the ballad I never meant to, which is another one of his favorites. And he said, "You want to try this? Your voice is real rough. It might sound good what you wrote to this music." And I'm like, "My voice is trash." He goes, "Just try it." And it was gone. But when I listened back to it, I said, "Man, that sounds pretty good." And then we play it live, and there's just something about it where the crowd just boom, they're right there. I love that one. I love I Never Meant To because that was based on my divorce and the family all splitting up and having to make amends with my daughters. That I'm not an animal, a bad guy. I'm your
Yeah.
dad, and that was my message to them.
That's good.
Um, very heartfelt for me. I love Bullet Train. I think Driver's Seat is real slipping away esque.
It's a real driving
Um,
song. That's hence the title, and it's the sort of thing you sit in the car with the window down and just belt the
yeah,
music
a
out.
lot of I get in photos from people all around the world that are cranking Driver's Seat, Bullet Train. They're cranking Love and War. They like
That's a
that
good
one.
song. That's a good song.
Those are some of my first picks. But again, if I listen to the album a week or two after I haven't heard it, and then I go, oh, "That's a pretty good song." I forgot about that one. And yeah, but as a given, that's what I would choose right now.
So, as an album, how do you see this as a progression from all the previous Bangalore Choir albums?
I think it's right in tune with Target. It's more cadence was pretty close. There were some really good songs on it, but the other albums that I did with Bangalore, there were like 3 good songs and the rest was filler.
Right.
I never really thought I'd grabbed it. Like I did Center Mass a few months ago, years ago. And I wrote one really good one with Mario that stood out on that, but maybe 2 others that I liked, but the rest of it didn't feel like it was connected like this does.
Okay.
I'm honest about it. I don't want to badmouth myself, but if I'm going to do a Bangalore Choir record, it's got to be in a Target style,
Yeah.
where people can familiarize themselves. Because Metaphor was really cool, but it had some bizarre tracks on it. Curtis and I did like the picking thing, Never Leave Old Joe Alone, songs like that. And I mean, there's some good songs on it, but they kind of went out, and 2 months later, nobody's talking about it. This record, it's been strong media, which I tip my hat to Brand Bold and Brave Words. They really are marketing
So, what
the
sort of
things.
reviews have you been getting so far for this album? Has it been all positive?
Yeah. Normally, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
You do like a 4 week pre-sale campaign in media, and then the day after it's released, nobody's talking about it.
Okay.
But this one, uh, being added to radio, as I said, especially in America, which are worldwide stations. KNAC just opened again with a real radio station,
Yeah.
and Mark Kendall is going to be one of the DJs, and they asked me to do some videos for welcoming them back on the air because KNAC 105.5 in Long Beach back in the day, we did our record release party with Tom Mastery at the Whiskey A Go Go,
Right. Yeah.
sold out. I mean, we were big on KNAT, so they've wrapped their arms around it. 97 Underground, Metal Shop. I mean, it's been nuts. I haven't seen a lot of the magazines yet because they'll probably come out in the next few weeks. But
yeah, right.
I haven't heard. Nobody's really bagged on me yet.
That's
I'm
good.
sure they will. But
I've given it 4 out of 5. I'm in the process of editing it now, so it'll be online today. So I'll send you the link so you can check it out.
Okay. What is that for?
Friday 13th YouTube channel.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link. But I mean, you've done 2 promotional videos, which are like lyrical videos. Are you going to be doing a video with a full band at some point?
Yeah, I just, for the ballad I never meant to, in France, I set up cameras everywhere.
Okay.
On stage, and I've got hours of footage that I have to edit. I don't think I'll do it as a lyric video. It's a black and white kind of dark vibe thing. But then I was thinking when I played I'm Headed For, I thought maybe I might put that on radio too and do a video for that with the band.
Right.
And when I go out with Alcatraz and Girls School, of course, I'll be filming because people want to see the audience, especially the promoters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It helps booking. I mean, let's just be honest with one another. Branding and audience are what sells shows.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I know everybody in those bands, and quite comfortable touring wise.
That's good
as well.
Yeah.
Which you know how that is. If you're not getting along with the headliner or the other band, it's miserable. But everybody's cool.
Great. Yeah. I mean, next year you're playing Headbangers Open Air Festival. That's a pretty heavy bill. I mean, you guys are going to be playing like a heavy set for that show, do you think?
Yeah, I always play Ecstasy and Generation Clash and Hellhammer from Heat to Heat in my set.
Right.
But they did ask me to do some classic accept for that show, like maybe do Balls or Fast as a Shot.
But that's not really your song, is it? You want to be doing songs off the album that you played on.
Right. But actually, our band is pretty heavy sounding the way we perform it. So yeah. I think we'll pull it off. And then the 2 days before that, we're playing Volcanic Fest in France, which is still kind of a heavy festival, but they're like, we want you on at 8 o'clock, which is a great time slot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just going to do what I do. They can throw stones at me or shoes. I don't care.
They will. I've been to the festival. It's a great festival, David. It's very small. It's on a farm and it's just brilliant. The atmosphere is brilliant.
Which one?
Headbangers Open Air. You'll love it.
Yeah. That was confirmed a few months ago. And there's a bunch of other ones in contention right now. And I think after we spin this Girls School Alcatraz thing, the door will open more.
Brilliant.
I'm hoping.
Well, David, I want to thank you for doing this interview. We finally got it together. All the best
for
the album and the tour. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube before we go?
Chase me down on Instagram. I'm all over the place. Go to Bands in Town for the dates if there's any near you for this tour coming up the 25th of November with Alcatraz and Girls School. Thank you to everybody that's been so supportive, that have purchased the physical, and the streamers. I mean, they wrote me from Brave Words and said, man, your uptick in Spotify is incredible. It's kicking off. I just thank everyone. I mean, without you, there's no me, including you, Jason.
Thank you.
This is what I do,
yeah.
And having the opportunity to talk about my album, it's an honor,
Yeah. Thank you, David. Have a nice day and have a great tour. Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless.